because I want to get y'all thoughts. I've been talking about it for a long time, but I kind of want to get y'all thoughts about the Hunter Biden situation. So this is the latest update on the outrage. On top of this, Hunter Biden's landlord is saying that he owned like $300,000 or something like that. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
This morning, while President Biden is on a 3-day trip to Africa, the firestorm over his full and unconditional pardon of his son is growing, even among some Democrats.
And as a member of Congress, I'm pretty angry because it's going to be incredibly important that political leaders of both parties stand up for the independence of the Department of Justice.
It is discouraging that he has now gone back on his word on that.
For months, the president and his team had repeatedly insisted Hunter Biden would not be pardoned.
And I will not pardon him.
We've been asked that question multiple times. Our answer stands, which is no.
But NBC News has learned he had discussed it with some of his closest aides, at least since his son's conviction in June. That's according to two people with direct knowledge of the discussions. They also said it was decided at the time that the president would publicly say he would not pardon his son, even though doing so remained on the table. The White House now denying that reporting, reiterating the decision was made this past weekend.
If it was my son, I'd pardon him too. But here's what I didn't like. Don't lie to us. Don't tell us you're not going to do it and then do it.
The president writing that he believes in the justice system, but also believes raw politics infected this process. The blanket pardon covers not only Hunter Biden's felony convictions on firearms charges and tax evasion, but also includes any offenses dating back to January 2014, months before he joined the board of a Ukrainian energy company, while his father was vice president.
Joe Biden, for 50 years in public office, has always pridefully boasted about his word as a Biden. And I guess we now know that his word as a Biden is trash.
So the public outrage continues. I didn't even realize that it was going to be this extensive up to this point. Any thoughts? Anything that y'all think that y'all want to talk about with regard to this?
Yeah, what I say about politicians, all politicians are compromised. I'm never backing down from that, ever.
Really?
All politicians are compromised.
That can't be true.
All of them.
No way.
All of them.
No way, Slimmy.
All of them. Especially lifelong politicians like this one right here. I'm starting to believe this is the only reason he even ran for president, because departing your son all the way back to 2014 means that's some shit that's going on that you probably were a part of that you do not want to leak out. So it was in his best interest. He had a chance. And then when you think about how he won, what was it, 80 million votes? We know this ain't that many people vote for this motherfucker. So they fixed that shit so he could pull some shit like this. Because what else did he do? What else did he do while he was in office? He didn't do shit. They just let the borders wide open. All this shit was a ploy. That's what it seemed like to me. And it's just like, yo, you get to be president and you gonna get your son out of a situation. Because they knew. They knew. But, all politicians is compromised, man. I ain't backing down from that shit. Them motherfuckers ain't no good. They ain't no good, man. They ain't no
I don't
good,
believe,
especially lifelong politicians.
I don't believe that, Slimmy.
Hey, man, we agree to disagree, because them motherfuckers ain't no good. Now, if they only been a politician,
so you saying
like
just because they get
months,
into politics that makes them compromised?
Yes. You have to be compromised to move up, to continue to move up, and to continue to get money. You got one hand washes the other. One hand washes the other. That's how it is in politics. In order to move up, you got to do a favor. Hey, I want you to I want you to get this union to go through. You know what I'm saying? We need better union reps over here in this county. So I'm gonna do this for you. All right, bet. But I need you to do this later on down the line. That's how it works. That's how it works. So you become compromised over time. Regardless of what you started off to be, you're going to be compromised. Especially this motherfucker right here. I don't even know how he got to be president.
I'd love to get y'all thoughts.
I think any dad would do this for his son. I'm sorry.
Like, why not? I have the power to do it. Why wouldn't you? For the sake of what? For the sake of what you motherfuckers think about me, nigga? I got another month, nigga. I'm about to be at the house chilling. I ain't gotta talk to you. Nothing. I ain't gotta deal with y'all no more. I'm about to go to my nursing home and check out. I don't get what the airport is. Biden doing a whole bunch of stuff. Didn't he just give somebody $1 billion or something? Africa or something? That nigga about to drain the bank accounts and everything on the way out.
Mm.
I don't know.
Carrie?
I don't see a fault in him. I think at the
You don't
time
see
that
a
he told
fault in what?
in him freeing the son, I think when he told us he wasn't going to do it, I think he really believed that. At the time that he said it,
You
he
don't
really
believe that, Quentin.
okay.
You really so wait a minute. When Biden said that he wouldn't pardon his son, you believe that he really believed that he was telling the truth?
Yes, I think he believed that. Yes, at the time he said it, I think he really believed that he wouldn't do it. Like, I
Wait a
don't
minute.
know
So
why people like feel like
Biden is a
I
good
just
dad.
hate the notion that people think because they change their mind that they're all of a sudden lying. Like, nigga, I thought about it. I had a long time to think about it. And I changed my motherfucking mind. I don't.
Biden is a good dad for having a
Well,
fiend of a son. His son is a fiend. His son is a fiend. How is he a
I don't
good
know.
dad? He allowed his son to become a fiend
That's
with
not
his
that's
iron
not
mark.
true. That's not
He
you can't put
he
on what
can't
your kid does on your
allow.
dad because I've done some
Yeah.
fuck
Man,
nigga shit that my this
man, if your kid is a fiend, it's somewhere along the lines, it's a reflection of you.
hold up. I can fix this shit. Y'all ain't about to do this shit tonight.
If
Hold
your
up.
kid is a fiend, it's a reflection of you somewhere
No,
down
it's
the line. What
not.
you
That's
mean?
not true. That's not true.
What?
That's not true at all. That's not true. There's so much shit that if I told my dad I did this, he'd be like, "You're not my son. Who are you?" No, that's
And
not
you did.
true.
That's because you're doing some sneaky shit, but you know you're not supposed to do it. It's still like, even you know you're not supposed to do it, right? So, but
Did
you
Hunter
also,
not know he
but so
wasn't supposed to do it either?
how many times have you used drugs,
I've
Quentin?
never used drugs. I've never used drugs in my life.
Exactly. How many times you been out drinking?
I don't know.
How often
I,
do you drink now? Let's say that.
I haven't drank since 2022.
Okay. So you know not to do those things, right? Also, you know not to be in the streets. For one, your dad is a pastor, right? So you know
But
not to be in the street.
I've done fuck nigga shit that my dad didn't teach me though.
Okay, cool. But you knew not to do that shit. And you weren't out. Were you out in the streets doing that shit publicly?
Yes, I
Oh, you
wasn't in
just wanted to be
public.
a devil
No,
child. You've been on record saying that you do things that you know your dad wouldn't approve of.
I'm just saying like what I just don't understand how you just say the kid is doing dumb stuff, so it's the parents' fault. It's not. I don't think it's that simple.
It's a reflection of his. This dude just said he was a good dad in the chat. I'm talking to him. He's not a good dad. He failed as a father because his son is a fiend. He went to prison for all type of dirty shit. What are we talking about? He
At what point
failed.
in time did your kids grow up and they have their own mind and regardless of what they've been taught?
This dude's dad is into politics, bro. He did some illegal shit. What was he exchanging trade secrets? Was that part of it? Wasn't that part of it? Why he
I
went to
don't
prison?
know. I will say this: there's no way that Hunter Biden, in my opinion, could be on the board and working for things over in Ukraine had his dad not been the vice president, then president of the United States of America. So, in a way, when you tying it back to it, it kind of seems like not only is his father the enabler, but also possibly the kingpin. If it don't go all the way up to Obama for the sake of conversation. Because I mean, how can Biden get away with anything as a vice president without Obama knowing about it?
What are we talking about? Are we talking about the position that Hunter had? Are we talking about the fact that he was
So
on
I'm talking
drugs? Are
about
we
the
talking
fact
about the
that
fact he was pardoned?
I'm talking about both, all of it, because he didn't just pardon. Hunter Biden was only convicted for a couple different things. He was convicted for the gun and he was convicted for the tax fraud. But he pardoned him all the way back till 2014 back when Biden was the vice president of the United States of America. That pardon goes back 10, 11 years ago. So it's not just saying, oh, okay, well, listen, he pardoned him. He a good dad. He didn't want him to go to jail. I personally believe that it goes a lot deeper than what we on the surface are saying that he got convicted for. So if that be the case, then we can't just on the surface, or I can't on the surface just say, oh, okay, well, he's a good dad because he just pardoned him. No, because A, you lied and you already knew even in the report is saying that his aides was saying that back when he was saying that he was going to pardon him, that he had already been having conversations about how he wasn't, when he was saying publicly, I'm not going to pardon him, he was already intending on pardoning him. So
Yeah,
not only did he
lying through his teeth.
not only did he lie publicly while at the same time trying to make it seem like Trump was the bad guy, but look at all of the people that he threw under the bus in the process. The secretary, that the speaker all the time, the Karine Jean-Pierre chick, she looking stupid because they telling her one thing when he was already intending on doing another thing in the first place. And then again, with all of the stuff that he was doing, I don't know. I can't say that he's a good dad at all. I'm not gonna say he was a bad father, but I can't give him father good dad status either though.
well, I wouldn't give him status of good or bad off of this. I would just say I think that a lot of parents, if in that position, would do the same thing. Like, that's why I don't understand why this is such an outrage, because I think a lot of people would do the same thing. I would do the same thing. And
I think
anybody who believed him up front when he said he wouldn't pardon his son, and yeah, that's a lie. But I think the people who really believed that were more naive than anything. Clearly it was strategic. He probably didn't say anything because even though people are like, you should have just been honest, if he was honest up front, there would have been an issue up front. And that probably could have caused issue for him to actually do the pardon. I don't know.
But
Maybe he was like, let me see.
their whole
Maybe he was
platform
like, let me
carry
see
was
if I
ran on the
win.
whole. I'm sorry, go ahead. You're right.
No, I was just gonna say maybe he was like, let's see if I win. And if I'm not gonna win, I got a few weeks before I leave office to do it. If I win, then I'll pardon him like right at like right when it's necessary. But
But their whole platform was branded based off of how much integrity they had and how they stood for whatever the justice system was. That's what they was rolling with. His whole
and people
career was based off of that.
and did people eat that up?
Yeah, because
Then
that
it
was the
worked.
thing that most liberals was using
Then
to try to justify why they wasn't voting for Trump.
then the strategy worked. And that's the
No,
problem
it
is
didn't
that
work because they
people
lost.
no, that's why I asked you, did it work? And you said yeah. So
Well, the reason
I'm
why
just
people voted for Trump was separate from that, but they were still praising Biden, saying that he had a phenomenal career as a politician and he was going to go down as one of the best politicians of all time, though.
yeah, I don't know who that even if he didn't pardon his son, I don't know how that would be the case. But
yeah, not
yeah,
black folks. Black folks ain't gonna say that. Hell no.
I think it's a fine line of characteristics that people look at for the most powerful, arguably the most powerful position in the world. To me, there's a level of integrity that you're going to have to operate with, yes, but there's also going to be a level of other things I think that cross the line or go real close to some lines for people. You're not going to be able to be the perfect personality person and be the most powerful person in the world, in my opinion. In my opinion. Which is why, even the stuff with Bill Clinton, like when scandals happen in the White House, personally, I'm like, I don't need to look at the president for my moral compass either. Not that he should be immoral, but I need you to be heavily focused on running the country effectively. So if you pardon your son or you give him a job along the way, me personally, that's not my deal breaker. Me
Nope,
personally.
Carrie, you're wrong. I think you're wrong
How am I
100%.
wrong about what it is for me?
Because because that's not the issue that people are nobody, and I mean absolutely zero. I've seen zero people say anything that was wrong with the pardon itself. Nobody. Nothing. The problem is that he volunteered a lie, and it was hypocritical for him to do so. That was the problem.
But then he can always fall back on what Quentin said. He can say he changed his mind.
Nope. You can't say
No.
that
He can
because
say
because his aides are saying that he already had said that he was going to do it before, when he was lying to the interviewers when he was running for president of the United States of America.
I think at the end of the day, that's not gonna matter. Like at that point, how can we prove what was said and when? Like I said, he can always be like,
Well, you don't have to
that
prove it
wasn't what
though,
I was gonna do then.
because your character speaks to the fact that it's almost like, why would we believe Meg Thee Stallion when we know that she was lying to Gayle King about her sleeping with Tory Lanez? It speaks to the justice system itself. One of the reasons why they cross-examine the witness or the person that's that is saying something against you is because we have to build credibility within the witness, and the minute that you lose the credibility, it then sways whether or not the person can be convicted. It's the basis by which we even lean into the justice system to say whether we should or we shouldn't, whether somebody should be convicted or not be convicted, right? And so
What's the
his
basis?
credibility for everything, because now we got to go back to everything that he's ever said, right? The repercussions, in my opinion, is beyond him and his son. The repercussions is going to resonate throughout the entire Democratic Party, because I will tell you that his legacy is closely tied, for example, to Kamala Harris, unfortunately. And I can't even believe I'm about to have this conversation, because I absolutely think that she's the worst person ever. And it doesn't change whether or not she should be in a presidency or not. But they are closely tied. One of the reasons why Biden got the nod, in my opinion, to even be in a position to run for president is because of his close tie to the popularity at the time of Obama. And one of the reasons why Kamala Harris is also affected, and one of the questions that they would ask her in interviews is, how would you be any different from Biden? She wanted to, take or have or lend herself some credibility to by saying that I can't untie myself from him, and I am very closely, aligned with everything that he said, because he's the president, I'm the vice president, and we're aligned, right? So the impact of his decisions don't just affect him. And this is why you got to remove what we would do out of it and say, you the president, you got to hold yourself to a higher standard. At the very least, you can't be hypocritical when you got to stand on what you say. I also believe that that's one of the things that actually resonate with people with Trump, is because you may not necessarily like him, but he going to tell you what he really going to do, and he going to do that. You may not agree with it, but you know that he has more credibility than Biden and him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that I would have did it the way he did it initially. I don't, like I said, I think that it was probably more strategic than anything. But I'm not shocked. Like, I'm not like, oh my God, Biden pardoned his son. How did that happen? And so people ranking him lying to them indirectly over him pardoning his son. I just think that this is where the people, they're thinking bigger than what they really are. Like, maybe they should be more important to where he keeps his word. He doesn't pardon his son purely because he said he wouldn't. But at the end of the day, that's his son. So what should he have done? Should he have come back and said, hey guys, listen, I know I said I wasn't going to pardon my son. I'm about to be out the office. Y'all saw what happened. I really want to pardon him.
Absolutely.
So will you
100%.
will you welcome my pardon? Like, should he have come back and asked for
People
permission?
care about authenticity, and that's why the Democratic Party is losing members rapidly. I believe that what is popular is what is authentic. People care less about whether or not you're wrong or right, more than they care about your credibility and whether you're going to be authentic and real about what you're doing.
Okay,
Even
so then
if you're wrong,
if he would just be like, listen, I changed my mind, or
100%.
Okay, fair.
I
Fair
believe that
enough.
if he was just straight up with people, when politicians are straight up, that's why Trump's popularity, in my opinion, is so big. It is what it is.
I agree with you on that. You know what to expect, whether you like it or not. He's not going to change it up for somebody here versus somebody over there. He's not going to move in fear. He's not. So I agree with you. And
I think that
again,
resonates in relationships. I think it resonates in life.